Okay, Sujit, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, 6.2 on the back of your dial and 6.6 on the back of your case. So 4 months, not out of the realm of possibility for sure. Certainly I have no reason to think this isn't the original dial for your watch. It's on upside down. Actually, that's not correct for this watch. That is for a 3-hand 6000 series non-chronograph, which is why it's not really functioning the way it should. You're also missing, that's an incorrect screw. You're missing a screw. Wow. It's all upside down. Okay, Sujit, well, that is the movement disassembled. We've got quite a few parts to find. Number of screws, a couple wheels. Come next, we'll see the cleaned parts and be ready to reassemble. Okay, Sujit, well, I've identified all the missing and incorrect parts and I've replaced those, and we are ready to get started on reassembly. Okay, well, that is movement running, about 95% assembled, and we're going to go ahead and put it on the time grapher and make some adjustments, see how it's doing, and we'll be right back. Okay, this is a pretty good place to start, so let's make some adjustments and see if we can get everything dialed in. All right, well, that's not too bad. Looking pretty good so far. All right, well, as soon as the lubrication sort of finds its spot, I think we're going to be doing much better. 235, not a bad place to be. Pretty good. Clean signal, cleaning up nicely. All right, that looks like it is doing exactly what I want it to do. All right, we'll be back. Okay, that is the movement completed. We're going to go ahead and put on the dial and the hands and come back and finish the process. Okay, Sujit, we are here at the end. I'm going to put the last few pieces on. Okay, well, there we go. That is the watch completed. It's looking extremely good. It just came out really beautifully. You know, you told me your dad wore this watch every day for doing regular work, just out there wearing it as a watch, as an everyday piece, and it's amazing to me the robustness of these watches and how well it survived. Your dad must have taken very good care of this, and you know, he had it serviced. I think he had some work done to it. Whoever was doing the work, you know, they might have had limited resources and perhaps even slippery fingers in the sense that there were some pieces that must have fallen on the floor or you know, made their way away from the watch and either were not replaced or replaced with things that shouldn't have been there. There were quite a few small items that needed to be really thought about and looked at, and but overall, you know, it wasn't bad. There were a few moments where I kind of had to shake my head and scratch my head and say, what is really going on here? What's happening? And I think what it comes down to is that your dad must have wound his watch very often by hand, and in that process, there tends to be some weak points that get, you know, essentially these movements, although they do have the capacity for hand winding, are not really constructed in such a way to handle sort of a daily hand wind. And what happened was there's a component on the bridge that is essentially an set of intermediate wheels that connect the winding components on the stem to the mainspring, and so that had gotten very loose, and as such had worn a lot of the parts that were associated with that. And so I think what happened was whoever worked on this watch before must have tried to work around that issue, and they installed this incorrect this is the ratchet wheel essentially, but this was the component, and I originally thought it was lost, but it turns out, do you see how egged out that hole is? That hole was leading this to bind, and in doing so loosened another intermediate wheel that was staked to the plate on the movement, and as such led to a complete and utter inability to wind the watch with the crown and stem. And so when I replaced this, I had to restake that other intermediate wheel to the bridge, and that then allowed me to go ahead and get things winding. Now, you can wind this watch, but you know, let the automatic works do their work, in my opinion. So lots of small screws and things that were missing. Some are not hard to find. Others are extremely difficult. You essentially have to take apart a 6138 movement to get to them, and they are, you know, they're a little bit on the expensive side, but not terribly bad. One screw, this one in particular, is very hard to find, and that's why I think you had this weird brass replacement, which I put back to being a correct screw. Some seals. Here's your the glass that was in the watch, the crystal. I have another seal here that was part of the trying to get the movement to stay still. I put a new spring in the movement retaining ring. You have a couple other replacement parts that I've marked. They'll be, of course, on the final write-up for the watch, so you have all of that. But you'll get all these parts back with the watch. Let's just go through the functions. It's you know, it's a JDM no loom dial and hand watch, which is really nice. Everything is just running really, really well. I was so happy to find out that, you know, the important parts, the actual components that allow the watch to run, are working very, very well. So that's good. Some of the other things, of course, are just replacements. So you can set the date and the day. Let's get back to, I think today is Monday, and it is the 21st. There we go. Now, I didn't replace your crown. I wanted to leave this, you know, I know your dad spent a lot of time winding this watch, and I want you to be able to interact with the parts and pieces that he dealt with on a daily basis. I just figured it was sort of perhaps a little sacrilegious to replace that. Chronograph function works exactly as it should. I didn't polish the watch. All I did was clean it very, very gently in some water, soapy water, and then just a light rub with a cloth with a little bit of metal cleaner, not polish, so no abrasive. But I think it came out great. The crystal was replaced with a Klein correct replacement. This is a Hardlex glass. I just love the blue tint that this has taken on. That really sets the watch off very nicely. I think it came out great. I hope you think so too. I want you to enjoy it. I just lightly cleaned your dial. I didn't take any of the patina or the life off of it. It's faded beautifully to this sort of golden color where it sort of, you know, your speed timer sort of disappears. But there goes the click over, and we can reset back to 0, of course. So enjoy your watch. It's a lovely piece, and I think your dad enjoyed this, you know, as a daily object of timekeeping. I mean, I really think that that's what this was for a very long time, and I'm glad to get it back to where it should be in terms of its state and condition, and I hope you get to enjoy it. All right, thank you, Sujit, and thanks for watching.